Hi everyone, today we are going to read another story that was sent to me, and so far that I can see, this might be the most interesting I've recently read. So let's get started. I'm writing this the way it happened because I still don't know if I did the right thing. I only know what my life looked like before the night and what it looked like after. I clean houses in a nice part of a town, not the kind of work people brag about, but it's steady and I've learned to keep my head down and my bills organized. I am a single mom and my kid has a medical situation that stays manageable right up until the months it isn't. The real pressure pointed wasn't rent or groceries, it was the car. If the car dies, I can't get to jobs, I can't get to appointments, and everything falls behind at once. I'd been living in that tight space where you've always one surprise away from losing your footing. One evening, driving home after a late clean, I cut through a shopping plaza to avoid traffic. Near the back service lane by the curb, there was a big piece of equipment sitting beside a handmade sign that literally said free. It looked like part of an old ATM, not the whole machine, but the heavy cash canister housing, the kind technicians slide out when they are pulling cash and swapping parts. It was wrapped in torn foam, scuffed in at the corners, like it had been dragged out and dumped in a hurry. The plaza was quiet, stores closed, and I assumed it was junk someone didn't want to pay to dispose of. It's very strange to find something like that on the streets, so I am curious what happens next. I drove past, then I circled back because something about it bothered me. Not greed, more like that feeling that you get when you notice a door left open in the rain. I parked, walked up, and saw the latch hanging half unsecured, like someone meant to come back and didn't. I didn't swing it open wide, I just lifted it enough to look. Inside were sealed metal cassettes with printed codes and color tags, the kind you don't see unless money is involved. My stomach dropped, I closed it fast, and stood there in the dark, trying to hear if anyone was watching. Very mysterious, honestly, and yeah, let's see what's going on there. I called my brother. He lives nearby, doesn't ask 10 questions before helping. He showed up on a bike a few minutes later, saw my face, and immediately got serious. We didn't lift it into the trunk like a movie. We wrestled it hard, stupid way, dragged it onto a folded moving blanket, used a cheap ratchet strap like a handle, and slid it inch by inch until my trunk barely shut. The whole time my brain kept flipping between two thoughts. This is marked free, and this is not something anyone just gives away. I agree. I drove home with my hands tied on the wheel, expecting headlights behind me that never came, but the fear didn't leave. It just changed shape into a question that kept repeating: if this was a mistake, how long until someone realizes what's missing, and how do they even find me? I didn't open anything that night. I shoved the whole thing into the back of my hall closet behind a stack of towels and tried to act normal, like hiding metal and guilt was just another core. My kid was asleep, the apartment was quiet, and I could still smell that parking lot dust on my hands. I kept telling myself the same sentence like it was a shield. It was sitting next to a free sign. But the other sentence kept pushing through: people don't put money next to a free sign. That really gives a vibe of some really serious situation. I really don't know what I would do in her place. So let's keep moving. The next morning, I waited until my kid left for school, then pulled it out onto the living room rug. Up close, it was exactly what I thought: not a full ATM, just the cash cassette housing. The latch wasn't broken, just not secure the way it should have been. Like whoever dropped it off assumed it was empty, or assumed nobody would dare touch it. My hands were shaking so badly, I had to sit down before I even tried again. Also, just a short reminder that on this side you will see a short video shortcuts that AI generated. I just wanted to give you not just a feel of listening the story, but also visualizing. So I hope you don't mind it. And yeah. When I finally lifted the cover, there were 4 cassettes inside, real ones, tagged, coded, sealed. I didn't tear them apart, I didn't dump anything out. I slid one cassette free, just enough to see the edges of bills stacked in a machine straight block, crisp and uniform in a way found cash never is. It wasn't a roll in a sock drawer, it was the kind of neat money you only see when a system touches it first. I put it back and closed everything like it'd been burned. All day, I worked with my stomach tight. Every time my phone buzzed, my heart jumped. I told myself nobody knew. I told myself cameras didn't point where the free sign was. I told myself I was being dramatic. Then, that evening, while I was cooking boxed mac and pretending life was normal, my phone rang from a number I didn't recognize. I didn't answer. They left a voicemail, a man's voice, controlled, not angry, worse than angry. He said he was calling about equipment removed from the plaza, and their contractor was trying to locate a missing module. He didn't say ATM, he didn't say cash, he said module, like he was careful about what words could be repeated later. Then he added the part that made my skin go cold. They'd pulled plates from the service lane camera because the module was left near the loading area, and security couldn't tell if it was picked up by mistake. Looks like they getting on her. He gave a callback number and said if you took it thinking it was scrap, we just need it returned. I stared at my phone until the screen went dark. That was the moment my brain stopped pretending this was simple, because now it wasn't. Just what's inside. It was what happens if I hadn't back, and what happens if I don't. If I returned it, I'd be the one raising my hand and saying, "Hi, I'm the person who picked up the ATM cash housing." If I didn't, I'd be the person hoping nobody knocked on my door. I called my brother again and played him the voicemail. He didn't lecture me, he just went quiet for a long second and said, "Okay, first breathe, second you need to decide what you can live with." And that was the problem, because when I looked at the stack of a overdue notice on my counter and thought about the car payment that was about to bounce, the honest truth was ugly and simple. I didn't feel like I was choosing between right or wrong. I felt like I was choosing between my kid's stability and a system that had already let me drown for years. That night, I moved the module deeper into the apartment, out of sight, and I didn't call the number back. Not yet. It's honestly a hard decision to make. I really don't know what I would do in being in her shoes, but I don't know. Whatever she decided. I hope it's for better and for her kid. So let's not be judgmental here. But I also didn't touch the cassettes again because some part of me still hoped there was a version of this where I could walk out clean. And I couldn't stop thinking about one detail that didn't fit. If it was truly missing equipment, why was it sitting beside a free sign like someone wanted it gone fast? I didn't call the number back. I stared at the voicemail for 2 days like it might change its mind and turn into a different life. My brother kept it simple. If you're going to keep it, you don't touch it in a panic. You do one thing at a time. So on Sunday morning, he came over early, parked a few buildings down, and helped me haul the module into my kitchen like we were moving a broken appliance. Not a secret. We opened it slowly, with the kind of careful silence you only get when two people are trying not to scare each other. 4 cassettes, all full. The bills were stacked so perfectly it didn't even feel like money at first. More like paper bricks from a factory. No notes, no property off sticker, no paperwork inside the housing. Just tags, codes, and the kind of neatness that made me wonder how it ended up next to a free sign in the first place. That's really strange and suspicious. I kept waiting for the obvious answer, return it, do the right thing, walk away, but the right thing has a different sound when your kid's inhaler is running low and your car is one payment away from repossession. I didn't feel brave, I felt cornered, and the hardest part to admit is that once I held those bills in my hands, I understood something ugly. I was already living in a system where doing everything right still kept us stuck. So I made a choice I'm not proud of, but I'm not pretending I didn't make it. I didn't go on some spending spree. I didn't post anything. I didn't tell anyone besides my brother. I did the most boring practical things first, the things that had been choking my life in slow motion. I paid the car note in cash at the office window and watched the clerk stamp current like it was just another day. I cleared the past due balance at the clinic and scheduled the appointment I'd be delaying because I couldn't handle one more "we need payment up front." I replaced the 2 ball tires that made every rainy drive feel like a gamble. I bought my kid new shoes without calculating how long we would scratch the old ones. The voicemail number called again once, then never again. Maybe they found out who messed up and got it handled quietly. Maybe the missing module was easier to write off than to explain. Maybe the free sign wasn't an accident at all. I still don't know, and that not knowing sits in the back of my throat sometimes when the apartment is too quiet. But here's what I do now. For the first time in years, I stopped walking up already panicked. My kid's prescription stayed filled. The car started every morning. The stack of red stamped envelopes on my counter disappeared. I even opened a small saving envelope of my own. Nothing dramatic, just enough that the next emergency doesn't feel like a cliff. Every once in a while, late at night, I think about the parking lot and the choice I made with nobody watching. I don't dress it up as a victory story. I don't call it fate. I call it what it was, a desperate woman finding a door cracked open and stepping through because her life didn't leave her many other doors. I still don't know if I did the right thing. I only know it changed everything. Wow, this is hell of a story, and it's really giving some thrills on my skin, and I think as a mother, she did the right thing. In the same time, I really don't know, the inner voice inside me would definitely be doubting, should I call the police or something, because it really feels some kind of illegal or so. But I'm glad it ended up really good for her and her child. And I'm just curious, guys, what do you think about the story? How would you manage it? What would you do? And just share it with us in the comments. And if you like a story like this, please subscribe, and see you next time. Bye.